The rain had ceased, leaving behind a damp chill that clung to the air. Samantha stood at the edge of the muddy auction yard, her boots sinking slightly into the softened earth. Around her, the low murmur of voices and the occasional whinny of a horse filled the space, but her focus was elsewhere. Across the yard, a frail horse stood alone, its coat matted and dull, ribs protruding sharply beneath its skin. The animal's head hung low, eyes half closed as if resigned to its fate. Samantha's gaze lingered on the creature, a pang of empathy tightening her chest. A man approached the podium, calling out bids for the next lot. The crowd's attention shifted, but Samantha remained fixated on the horse. She took a step forward, then another, until she stood just a few feet away. "Not much to look at, is he?" a voice remarked beside her. She turned to see an older man, his face weathered and lined, probably headed for the slaughterhouse. Samantha nodded slowly, her eyes never leaving the horse. "Maybe," she murmured. The bidding began, and the price remained low. No one seemed interested in the emaciated creature. Samantha's heart pounded as she raised her hand. The auctioneer acknowledged her bid, and moments later, the gavel fell. The horse was hers. As she approached the animal, it flinched slightly, but made no move to retreat. She reached out slowly, her hand brushing against its coarse mane. "You're safe now," she whispered. Transporting the horse back to her modest farm was a challenge. The animal stumbled several times, its legs weak from neglect. Samantha spoke softly, encouraging it with gentle words and steady hands. Upon arrival, she led the horse into the small barn, guiding it into a clean stall lined with fresh straw. The horse stood motionless, its eyes scanning the unfamiliar surroundings. Samantha filled a bucket with water and placed it within reach. The horse drank slowly, as if savoring each sip. Over the next few days, Samantha devoted herself to the horse's care. She cleaned its wounds, provided nourishing food, and spoke to it with a soothing voice. Gradually, the animal began to respond, its eyes growing brighter, its movements more confident. One morning, as she entered the barn, the horse nickered softly, a sound that brought a smile to her face. She approached, running her hand along its neck. "You're looking better," she said. "Stronger." She decided to name the horse Chance, a reflection of the opportunity they both had for a new beginning. As the days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. Samantha found solace in the routine, a sense of purpose that had been missing from her life. One afternoon, while tending to the garden, a neighbor stopped by. "Heard you bought that old nag from the auction," he said. "What are you planning to do with him?" Samantha looked up, wiping her hands on her jeans. "Give him a chance," she replied simply. The neighbor chuckled. "Well, good luck with that." He walked away, shaking his head. Undeterred, Samantha continued her work. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, but she was committed to giving Chance the care and attention he deserved. In doing so, she found herself healing as well, the weight of past regrets slowly lifting. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the farm, Samantha stood by the fence, watching Chance graze peacefully. She felt a sense of contentment, a quiet confidence that they were both on the path to something better. The journey was just beginning, and she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The morning sun filtered through the barn's weathered slats, casting golden beams that danced across the straw-laden floor. Callie stood at Ash's stall, her hand resting gently on the door. The once gaunt gelding now bore a subtle sheen to his coat, a testament to weeks of care and cautious trust. His eyes, though still shadowed by past traumas, held a flicker of curiosity as he watched her. She offered him a piece of apple, and after a moment's hesitation, he took it from her palm, his lips brushing her skin. Encouraged by his progress, Callie introduced a saddle pad, laying it across his back with deliberate gentleness. Ash tensed but didn't shy away. She spoke softly, her voice a soothing murmur, as she adjusted the pad. Each day, she added a new element, the weight of a saddle, the feel of reins. Ash responded with tentative acceptance, his trust in her growing incrementally. One afternoon, as Callie led Ash around the paddock, a sudden gust of wind sent a tarp flapping violently. Ash spooked, rearing slightly, his eyes wide with fear. Callie held the lead rope firmly, her voice calm. "Easy, Ash. It's okay." He snorted, muscles quivering, but gradually settled. She stroked his neck, feeling the rapid beat of his heart beneath her fingers. Moments like these tested their bond, yet each challenge surmounted strengthened it. In the evenings, Callie would sit outside his stall, reading aloud from her grandfather's old books. Ash would stand nearby, ears flicking, as if absorbing the cadence of her voice. These quiet interludes became a ritual, a bridge between their worlds. As the county fair approached, Callie considered entering Ash in the trail ride event. It was a modest competition, but for them, it symbolized a milestone. She filled out the entry form, her hand steady. The decision felt right, a culmination of their shared journey. The day of the fair dawned clear and bright. Callie loaded Ash into the trailer, her nerves taut. Upon arrival, the fairgrounds buzzed with activity. Riders milled about, their horses gleaming. Ash stood quietly, his demeanor calm yet alert. Callie adjusted his tack, her fingers nimble despite the undercurrent of anxiety. As they approached the starting line, a fellow rider glanced at Ash, eyebrows raised. "Didn't expect to see that old nag here," he muttered. Callie met his gaze, her voice firm. "He's earned his place." The rider shrugged, turning away. Callie focused on Ash, her hand resting on his neck. "We've got this," she whispered. The trail wound through wooded paths and open fields. Ash moved steadily, his ears pricked forward. Callie guided him with subtle cues, their communication seamless. Midway through the course, a fallen branch blocked the path. Callie dismounted, leading Ash around the obstacle. As she remounted, a sudden shout pierced the air. "Help! Someone help!" Callie turned to see a rider thrown from her horse, lying motionless. Others hesitated, unsure. Without thinking, Callie urged Ash forward. He responded instantly, galloping toward the fallen rider. Callie dismounted, checking the woman's pulse. "She's breathing," she called out, "but we need help." Ash stood nearby, calm amidst the chaos. A few riders approached, offering assistance. Together, they stabilized the injured woman. Paramedics arrived shortly after, taking over. As they loaded the woman onto a stretcher, one of them turned to Callie. "You acted quickly. She'll be okay, thanks to you." Callie nodded, her gaze shifting to Ash. "We did it together." Back at the fairgrounds, word of their actions spread. People approached Callie, offering praise. The rider who had earlier dismissed Ash looked contrite. "I misjudged him," he admitted. Callie smiled. "We all have our stories." That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Callie led Ash back to the trailer. He walked beside her, his gait steady. She paused, turning to face him. "You were amazing today," she said. Ash nickered softly, his eyes meeting hers. In that moment, the weight of their pasts lifted, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. As they drove home, the landscape bathed in twilight, Callie reflected on their journey. From the auction yard to the fairgrounds, each step had been a testament to resilience and trust. She glanced at the rearview mirror, catching a glimpse of Ash. He stood calmly, his presence a steady anchor. The road ahead stretched out, filled with possibilities. Together, they would face whatever came next. The sirens shattered the quiet morning like glass underfoot. Amelia jerked upright, coffee sloshing over her wrist. From the living room window, she saw the black smoke curling upward in the distance, just past the ridge that bordered the neighbor's property. Her breath caught. That was the old Miller barn. And judging by the panic in the chickens and the barking dogs, the fire was spreading faster than anyone could have anticipated. She barely had time to throw on her boots before sprinting out the door, her mind racing. Jasper followed at her heels, tail high and nostrils flaring, sensing her urgency. She didn't know what she was going to do. She only knew she had to try. By the time she reached the road, the fire had already swallowed half of the barn roof. Cries echoed through the haze. Mrs. Miller's voice, shrill and frantic. "The foals. They're still in the north pen. I can't get them out." Amelia's heart nearly stopped. She'd been around those foals since they were born, curious, soft-nosed things. And that barn, it was a tinderbox, ancient wood and straw packed tight, from years of use. A single ember was enough to turn the place into an inferno. Jasper pawed the ground beside her, whinnying low and loud. He wasn't afraid. He was waiting for her. She tightened the old bridle. "Let's go, boy." Smoke closed around them like a shroud as they galloped through the fields toward the barn. Amelia's lungs burned, but she stayed low on Jasper's back, trusting his strength, his instincts. He darted through the chaos like a streak of ash-colored lightning, eyes alert, hooves striking the ground with purpose. A lesser horse would have buckled from fear, but Jasper moved like he was born for this. As they rounded the burning barn, Amelia spotted the foals huddled in a corner, penned behind a collapsing gate. Flames licked at the posts. One of the younger colts was on the ground, struggling to rise. Too much smoke. Too little time. Amelia dismounted before Jasper had fully stopped. "Easy, boy. Hold steady." She dashed toward the pen, unhooked the latch, and shoved the gate open, but the colt didn't move. Behind her, Jasper snorted sharply, ears pinned, muscles rippling. And then, to her astonishment, he moved past her and stepped into the smoke-choked pen. His nose brushed the colt's mane gently. Then he pawed at the ground, nudging him. The foal wheezed but responded, trembling to his feet. Jasper turned and gave a low, commanding grunt. The foal began to follow. One by one, the other two foals fell in line behind them. Amelia choked on relief as she backed away, guiding the group out into the clearer air. Jasper herded the foals with startling precision, nipping at heels when needed, his body a barrier between them and the blaze. The barn creaked ominously, flames now devouring its spine. Any second now. The structure groaned, crashed. Wood and sparks exploded into the sky, a wave of heat surging outward like a breath from hell. Amelia shielded her face, screaming Jasper's name. But when the smoke parted, there he was, singed but standing, the last foal pressed close to his flank. Gasps rippled from the crowd that had gathered. Firefighters doused the barn's remains as the animals were ushered to safety. Mrs. Miller collapsed in sobs beside Amelia, gripping her hand. You saved them." Amelia couldn't speak. She turned to Jasper and laid a trembling hand on his soot-blackened neck. He leaned into her. The story spread like wildfire, faster than the flames ever had. By noon, Jasper's name was in the local paper. By nightfall, video of the rescue had gone viral, recorded by someone from a nearby hill. The same reporters who had once ignored Amelia's rescue work now clamored for interviews. But she declined them all. Jasper didn't need fame. He needed rest. And yet, something had shifted. Donations began pouring into her struggling rescue. Volunteers signed up. Kids showed up with hand-painted banners. One little girl brought a locket for Jasper to wear. Inside was a tiny photo of a horse she'd lost in a storm. Jasper wore it without protest. He became more than a horse. He was a symbol, a legend, proof that even the broken could rise, could protect, could lead. But not everyone welcomed the attention. A man showed up one evening, lean and hard-eyed, with a limp he didn't bother hiding. Named Silas. "That's my horse." Amelia met his gaze, arms folded. "Not anymore, he's not. I trained him. I know what he's capable of. You don't. He needs a real rider, not some rescue girl." Jasper stood a few feet away, ears twitching. He didn't move toward Silas. "He's not the horse you broke anymore," Amelia said softly. "He's whole. And he's mine." Silas stepped forward, but Jasper reared slightly, teeth flashing. "See," Amelia's voice sharpened. "He remembers." Silas's jaw clenched. He looked at Jasper again, really looked, and something inside him faltered. He wasn't like that. He was wild. Mean. "No," Amelia replied, voice quiet. "He was scared. And he never trusted you." For a long moment, silence stretched between them. Then Silas turned and walked away, without another word. Jasper watched him go, then returned to grazing. In the weeks that followed, Jasper and Amelia became inseparable. They trained not for shows or competitions, but for something purer. Kids with trauma visited the sanctuary, and Jasper knelt for them. Veterans came to speak of their battles, and Jasper stood like a sentinel at their sides. His calm was contagious. One evening, as the sun dipped low over the hills, Amelia leaned against the fence, watching him lead the herd. She thought of that day at the auction. The way he'd looked. Skin stretched over bone, eyes dead, a price tag that wouldn't buy a cup of coffee. And now here he was, bathed in gold light. The hero no one had expected. The hero no one dared to be. A truck pulled up behind her. A woman stepped out. Middle-aged, glasses, clipboard in hand. Amelia Hart. Amelia nodded, wary. The woman smiled. I'm with the National Animal Relief Foundation. We're creating a new emergency response program. Disaster recovery, therapeutic work, veteran outreach. We'd like you and Jasper to help lead it. Full funding, travel expenses covered, and a platform to teach what you've built here. Amelia's heart thudded. Jasper, as if sensing the moment's weight, trotted over and rested his head on her shoulder. The decision wasn't hard. Later that night, she stood in the barn with Jasper, brushing out the last of the ash from his mane. We've got more work to do, huh? He nickered softly. You ready to be the hero again? Outside, the stars blinked into view one by one, silent witnesses to the journey of a horse once forgotten, now unforgettable.